Wild horses cannot drag me away. I mean, I want to do productions. I want to make films. I want to get the word out. I want to warn people. I want to stop these people because it's so frustrating to know these are wanton, evil criminals that use psychological warfare and false reality systems that they've taught people to get a lot of good men and women out there to not even ever become conscious human beings and to be mind slaves to these globalists and carry out all this evil. I don't even hate their minions anymore. I used to really get mad at minions of the system. And now I'm just like, man, it's frustrating. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I live this stuff. I read documents till I'm blue in the face. I understand how the system works. I understand that most people are not bad. And I understand this a lot more than even some of their high-level people because they're all compartmentalized just doing their sector. They're trained to do it. They do it. And I've gotten to the level of a master architect understanding of the overall integrated systems of how they run this thing. And let me tell you, it doesn't look like it's human built. I'm not into space aliens, reptoids, any of that. I'm just saying it's hard to believe that humans would actually consciously be trying to set this up because they're trying to screw up the planet. They're trying to splice every animal and every plant and creating abominations that are already causing irrevocable problems. They're already got a lot of the key species dying out, honeybees and things like that. It's other top scientists I've had on. It's like, they say it's like it's space aliens that want to destroy the Earth or something. And then they know that we're concerned about this, so they take over the environmental movement and make it an anti-human, anti-carbon dioxide movement. They are such masters at knowing how you're going to think and what you're going to do and creating false systems to capture your energy, to capture your resistance. It's just unbelievable. And they love hurting good things. They love defacing good things. They love screwing things up. All right, I'm going to start preaching here. It's the devil, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to explain it to you, but when you get right down to hardcore 18-hour-a-day research, you run smack dab up against it. The leadership are devil worshippers, Lucifer worshippers. They think Lucifer's God, and they're just sick freaks. They are super smart, sick freaks, and it's skull and bones. They think they're guided by the devil, and they worship the devil, and ABC News captured it on tape. I mean, it's like, what in the world are we facing here? And they've got all these well-meaning people that will go and shoot Iraqi women for almost no reason and call them subhuman and think they're good guys. That is mind control. And it's all Skinner. It's all Edward Bernays. Oh, if you just read propaganda by Bernays. If you just know what I know, if you just read the Public Club of Rome documents, if you just read the Rockefeller Foundation documents we linked to, where they put stuff in the vaccines and the food and the water to give us cancer, I mean, it's really uncool. You know, this is not about entertainment. It's not about a joke, people. It's not about, ooh, I'm a radio host and I'm up here talking to you about this stuff. This is life and death. It starts with all of us, though. Evil couldn't have gotten away with this if people by increment didn't give in to evil and corruption. I said I'd get through a bunch of news, and look at this financial news. Doctors going broke under Obamacare, but don't worry, they just now want to fully nationalize health care and take it over. That was always the plan. CNN. Top 1% of mobile users consume half of world's bandwidth, and the gap is growing. So they're saying to people, well, let us put more charges on you since other people are using too much. That's just a way to charge everybody more. There's articles out about how they're lying about how many jobs have really been created. We've got a big stack of news on that front. I already mentioned this, but it's big. DHS officers armed with semi-automatics set up unannounced ID checkpoints with submachine guns in Florida. I mean, you just can't make that up. Speaking of genetic engineering, I had a big stack of news on that, but let me get to that in a minute when I find it. Proposed DNA bank could ensnare New York graffiti artist, and it just goes through. England already does this in many cities. You get pulled over for speed, and they take your DNA out of the cheek. They can just swab it, They put it in the database, of course, to frame you. It's not, the cop doing it doesn't know that, but it's mainly to frame you and get your, I mean, they take your blood at birth for 40 years worldwide. Everywhere it's under the global system, there's a few countries they're mopping up, and don't worry, they fly over there and spray stuff on them. They're not getting away with anything. They're going to be mutated and murdered by these criminals, just as, I mean, just devil ghouls we're dealing with. There's that report out of Reuters. We've got, I'm digging up my reporter. The problem is I've got too much news. This is just totally insane. I got a whole stack of news here about genetic engineering and stuff. Here it is. Welcome to a brave new world. Genetic scientists create freakish man-made monster ants with huge heads and jaws. I'm going to cover this on the nightly news tonight. Here's another one. Meet the chimera monkey. This is Daily Mail. Made from the cells of 6 different animals. You know what that does zoologically, the viral mutations that creates? I mean, folks, it's going to start now not being cancer at 2,000% or 3,000% what it was 50 years ago. It's going to start being just everybody dying around you or being cut up and sliced up as the whole financial system goes bankrupt by design and the medical system goes bankrupt, which is designed to do. They create the medical crisis, soft killing everybody. Then it collapses. Then you got government-run health care, which will deliver the murdering system that much more deadly. You know, it's just pure evil. This is a scientific dictatorship. They look at you in their little lab coats like an animal. They've set up a whole system to control and manipulate you. The schools across the country are admittedly watching kids at home on their laptops. I mentioned this earlier. Big Brother in St. Louis, schools plan to monitor students' activity at home with these medical wristbands, all the students tracking their heart rates, everything, just training you that you're a prisoner. And to see if the parents will go along with it. And now California is inoculating school students without parental consent. And we've caught schools before doing it and claiming it's an accident. They take your blood at birth and tell you it's for a blood test, and they're liars, and they're caught lying. And they were just saying, Alex, you haven't mentioned the article about how the new Windows coming out won't have a mouse. It'll be eye-tracked. Well, absolutely. What do you think the Kinect put out by Microsoft does? It's a face scan. See, the technology it's not even a Trojan horse. The reason you think you have a computer, the reason you think you go on Google is the side vestigial reason. It's all designed to track and control you. Microsoft said a decade ago that they're going to have Internet ID by law, but before that, it won't matter because you're going to thumbprint and face scan to activate your computer. It will not turn on. Now, even local banks are trying to pressure us when we get wires in from advertisers or we're going to wire money or something to do a voice print deal. Not even a code or not even a, I mean, it's just, and then again, they can tax and trace and shut you down. They can put any fees they want on you. It's a system where you're like a rat in a big computerized maze. And then now I see all the big Republican talk show hosts freaking out over Obama saying, I'll just have, I'll just appoint judges now in America. They're saying, but this has never been done before. These aren't recess appointments. We're not in recess. These are permanent appointments. Remember the quote? Believe me, the idea of doing things on my own is very tempting. Remember Bush? Things would be a heck of a lot easier if this was a dictatorship, just so long as I'm the dictator. Remember that? You can pull that up. I mean, it's open creepiness in your face beyond what you could even imagine. And it's just going to get more insane from here on out. And you're like, well, at least we're on the air talking about it. Yeah, now they're talking about shutting people down. I mean, it's everyone going along with this, we're destroying ourselves. That's what's so frustrating. 99% of people are compartmentalized. They may even hate the New World Order, but you still go along with it because it's all around you. We've got to start really realizing this is the big issue. This is everything. All the other stuff, the football, the dramas, it's all drama. We're under attack. Let's get conscious to it. The globalists know that if it's incremental, Do you think a deer, here's an analogy, would walk out into a beautiful green field if it knew that the whole field was a giant bear trap? I just thought of a graphic of that. It's the same thing of like a pond being poisoned where deer come to drink. If they don't taste the poison, they're going to drink it and all die. It's because it's not in your face, but now it is in your face. Because it grew slowly, like the frog in the pot, people are almost totally wide open to it. And it's almost like a deer. You know, the public's a deer walking out into a field, and you see the whole field slam shut, and it's a giant Venus flytrap. You know, and the trees and stuff are just its teeth. And like, there's the meadow, and the deer walks out, it's slammed shut on it, and then it's a whole other vista you're looking at. I mean, it's like that. It's like people just see this as real, the system and lies stacked on lies, and it's all a giant illusion. I got to do 5 minutes of overdrive because I said I'd get to this. Most stations won't carry this, but it'll be on Infowars.com audio streams and the video streams we have up there now. And I'll be on the nightly news. We've got a 15-day free trial running right now if you want to support us and also see the news. And then you can download it and give it to your friends. I'm going to come back and get into Obama and saying he basically wants to be our supreme ruler. So the system tells us we can secretly arrest you. We can torture whoever we want. We can launch wars, and we'll just say they aren't wars. Welcome to where time stands still. No one leaves and no one will. It is the inmates running the asylum. And look at these headlines at Infowars.com. The dictator wants to bypass Congress. The people cheer. And we've got a little clip of Glenn Beck, who's been halfway endorsing Ron Paul lately because he knows where his bread is buttered, has assembled a video montage that includes President Obama making references on numerous occasions to bypassing Congress in order to push forward his agenda. And we've done videos like that as well. Rather than outrage over President's desire to ignore his oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, the masses cheer. Yeah, he's been beta tested in the last few years where he said, you know, Congress is in my way. I wish I didn't have them there. And they're like, yay, ignore them. Be our dictator. Give us Barabbas. Give us evil. We've got a clip of Obama from Real Clear Politics, one of these clips. I have an obligation as president to do what I can do without Congress. And boy, you're doing it. Let's go ahead and play it.
These are ideas that have support from Democrats. They have support from Republicans around the country, independents around the country. I want to work with Congress to get them done. But when Congress refuses to act, and as a result hurts our economy and puts our people at risk, then I have an obligation as president to do what I can without them.
Oh. I mean, I should have led the show with that today. I mean, that is such a big deal. In fact, Jaron, remind me, on Sunday, I'll be live this Sunday, 4 to 6. Will you please assemble all those clips we can? The one Becky Pooh has, but just find the originals. I know Dude's got a bunch. We played them a few weeks ago. I mean, we need to talk about this. I mean, this is getting creepier and creepier. If they don't act, it's this idea of Congress needs to get more done. No, the founders said separation of powers. You want gridlock. You don't want government that just can do whatever it wants. So the idea is if they fail to act, I'll do whatever I want. You're the executive that's given the laws to execute them. You're like an executive at a company with the shareholders, and the shareholders represent the population. And the Congress is the representative of the shareholders. The Congress makes law. And Congress is pretty much bought and paid for. I mean, they just gave the president the power to secretly arrest, torture, attack any country he wants. You know, the biggest part of NDAA isn't just the bestiality weirdness and the rest of it. And if you just tuned in, yeah, it legalizes that too on the military basis. Look, I didn't believe it either when I heard it. Go look it up. I'm not joking. Believe me, we're living in Twilight Zone here. I mean, even if they're into that in the government, why put it in a law? I mean, it's just, they're crazy. They're crazy. These are crazy people. It's, you know, because they do what they do, but that's not the issue. The issue is that worldwide battlefield statement. And now they've got all these civilians dropping drone bombs, killing people, and now they say they're going to have the drones operating on their own. No human killing people. That's already happening. And they give the drone operators medals and stuff. It's just beyond sickening. And all of this distance killing, all of this end of the conscience, end of critical thinking. We're going to enter a new dark age of humankind that is going to make anything we've seen look tame.